How's it hanging, Capital City Baptist Church? Scott here with your daily Devo. Let me start by asking you a question. Did you, like me, happen to have the unfortunate luck of having your birthday during quarantine? Well, one of my friends had just that kind of luck, and she wouldn't let a silly thing like a global pandemic stop her from having a wild and out party. And she posted some pics on Facebook, and I enjoyed them so much I thought I'd share some of them with you. But I also had a birthday during quarantine, like I said, and I told Clarissa that I was going to have a party just like hers. But when push came to shove, I decided that I wasn't as cool as she was, and I wouldn't try to jack her style. Our beautiful nation is also celebrating a birthday pretty soon in just a couple of days, and I want to talk about the birth of another nation and look at how that relates to us, or if it relates to us. We're going to be looking at the coronation of this new nation at the foot of Mount Sinai in Exodus 19:4 through 6, and it reads like this. You yourselves have seen what I did to Egypt, and how I carried you on eagle's wings and brought you to myself. Now, if you obey me fully and keep my covenant, then out of all of the nations you will be my treasured possession. Although the whole earth is mine, you will be for me a kingdom of priests and a holy nation. These are the words you are to speak to the Israelites. So God delivers the people of Israel from slavery and oppression in Egypt, and he brings them to the foot of Mount Sinai, and he commissions the Hebrews to be a nation of priests to the world. His intention with this young fledgling nation of Israel is that they would model justice and mercy and be an example of God's salvation to the other nations of the world. And because of their example, the other nations would see what's going on in Israel and praise and glorify God because of it. And I don't know about you, but I think it's pretty stinking cool that the people that God chooses to be a light for him to the world is not some powerful nation or empire, but literally God chooses one of the most oppressed people groups in the known world, being oppressed by the most powerful nation in the known world at the time, to deliver them to freedom. And it would be from this nation of slaves that Jesus would descend from and deliver the whole world, you and me, from the bondage and slavery to sin. I think that's pretty stinking cool. Well, we know that things with the Israelites don't quite turn out the way that one would expect. God's people broke the covenant, and because of that, God allowed them to be conquered and swallowed up by more powerful nations. First Babylon, and then Persia after them. But God always gets the glory, and he is still going to be glorified even in this new reality that the people of God find themselves in. Do you remember a few weeks ago when we talked about Jeremiah 29:11 and how God encourages this conquered people to settle into their captivity, to be good neighbors, and to seek the good of the country that they're now living in? Because if that country prospers, then God will prosper the people of Israel as well, the people of God as well. Well, they did just that. And as a result, the prophet Daniel, who we know to be a great man of God, he became one of the most powerful men in Babylon as an advisor to the king. And because of Daniel's faithfulness to King Nebuchadnezzar, who is literally the king of of most of the known world and literally represents the nations of the world, he gave praise to God because of Daniel's testimony. When Persia conquered Babylon, a Jewish girl became the most powerful woman in the known world by becoming Xerxes' queen. And furthermore, her uncle becomes the second most powerful man in the known world by being Xerxes' closest advisor. This may be the first time where the people of God and Jewish thought and Jewish faith is on the world's stage for the first time. And this is probably the first time or the most influence that the Jewish people have had over the world to this point. Many people even speculate that the three magi or we say they're three magi, but that the magi who visited toddler Jesus were Persians who had been familiar with Jewish scriptures, and somehow they were among the first to recognize Jesus as the Messiah and the King of Kings. Well, this Jesus, the descendant of that nation of slaves, offers true freedom. He didn't win this freedom through domination or violent revolution or stirring up some uprising, and he didn't win it by force. Instead, he wins our salvation. He wins our freedom through love, sacrifice, and a whole lot of grace. And he commissions us with a similar task that he gave the Hebrews so long ago at the foot of Mount Sinai. And we find this great commission in Matthew 28:16-20. And it says, all authority, Jesus says this, all authority in heaven and on earth has been given to me. Therefore, go and make disciples of all nations, baptizing them in the name of the Father, the Son, and the Holy Spirit, and teaching them to obey everything that I have commanded you. And surely I am with you always to the very end of the age. What I love about living in America is that we are a nation that represents people from all nationalities, from all ethnicities, different walks of life, and even different faiths. Now, all of a sudden, we don't have to go across the world or across an ocean to spread the hope of Jesus. We can just walk across the street. We can be a light to the people of this nation and this world, but we can't do it through force and domination. We do it by being good neighbors, good citizens, and we have to do it the way that Jesus modeled, through love, sacrifice, and a whole lot of grace. Well, I hope that you have an amazing 4th of July weekend, and I hope that your festivities will be safe both from fire and virus. God bless you all, and happy birthday, America.